Hello my fiery kittens, Firecats3 here, and today we're going to be doing a redesign video. So, if you remember in the last redesign video, I said I would be redesigning a character named Skin. And yes, I understand that is a weird name for a character, but to my defense, I did not name him. So, the history of Skin, let's talk. So, Skin was a character that was given to me by one of my DeviantArt friends. And my DeviantArt friend, Lunacracy, was her username. And she was more of a writer than a character drawer, designer, stuff like that. And she really enjoyed using the journal content of DeviantArt and would write stories and stuff. So we would share characters, and she would write stories about my characters and stuff like that, and I would draw her characters. Kind of that type of friendship. A few months before she deactivated her DeviantArt, she came to me with a whole bunch of characters. So obviously some characters will be brought back, who will probably be shown in this series when I do more redesigns. But anyway, she gave me a whole bunch of characters and said, hey, look, I don't want these anymore. I want to give them to a good home. Would you like them? And of course I said yes. Now in that pile of characters, there was a character named Skin. And he was, I'm not sure if she loved him a lot, but I remember her specifically telling me to be careful with him. Obviously, hey, Ludicrousy, if you're watching this, feel free to tell me whether or not you actually loved Skin a lot. Skin was one of your babies, as we used to call them, and I still call them. You know. And if you're watching anyway, I would love to reconnect and know what you're doing now. Please, comment below, DM me. All my socials are in the link in the description. So, anyway, so she gave me a whole bunch of characters, and obviously I took them, and Skin was in the pile, and with Skin I decided, because it seemed to be more of a favorite than the others, that I was going to make Skin a more important role in my characters. So I made him best friends to my character Roxas, who I was at that time working on making a comic for DeviantArt called How Love Starts for Roxas and Paralyzed. Since then, I have revamped that comic series, and I have redone it, and now it's on Webtoons. If you would like to read How Love Starts, link is in the description. You just have to get through the first 2 pages, because I really didn't understand how to upload. Originally, when I first made an account on Webtoons, when I first started the series, I didn't really know how to upload. I now know how to upload, so it gets much better after page 2. Alright, sorry for my little plug in there. Anyway, so I made Skin more of a major part because he was best friends with Roxas, and that's pretty much what I did with him. Ludicrousy liked how I drew him. That's pretty much all I could say. She, of course, a couple months later, deactivated her DeviantArt, and I haven't heard from her since. At least I don't think I have. I've had a few people on YouTube who've said it's great to see that you still draw, and I'll be honest, some of them I can't remember who they are, and I have to go back, and then they don't have their old stuff up anymore, and I'm like, well, I think I know who this person is. So, Lucracy, if you have contacted me after that point, I'm so sorry. I did not realize it was you. Okay. me talking to an old friend through a video. Let's get past that. Let's go right into my redesign. So, like I said before, I want to put him in my comic series How Love Starts. And with How Love Starts, I made everyone human. I decided that I was going to take away all my fantasy creatures. They weren't going to be shown in the series because I didn't really want to put that level of complication. I have so many deep lores that this story really was supposed to be just about Roxas and Paralyzed falling in love. So after learning that, I realized that, well, when I redesign Skin, he has to be human. So sadly, guys, he is not a fantasy character this time. However, he is designed after fantasy characters. So when I was redesigning Skin, I felt like I had to add a little more to his personality because I kind of just took Skin and said, hey, he's just the dragon who is a bad booty and bad booty. He's a bad booty and he just is a delinquent, basically. That's what I was imagining him as, like, you know, someone who steals, someone who's kind of maybe in a gang or something. That's how I saw Skin. So I kind of took that and I'm like, okay, let's keep him as kind of like a delinquent, but like a nerdy delinquent in the sense of he's like really into like the creatures of D&D, like the dragons and the three-headed beasts, and I don't know a lot of fantasy creatures from D&D. Me. So I wanted to keep that and like make him kind of like really into big scary monsters of fantasy, not really fairies and stuff like dragons, more dragon to fairy. So while doing that, that gave me kind of the inspiration for his ears. So I originally took them and made them round like I normally do with human ears, but then I said, well, in my mind, I went, okay, now how can I make these look more dragon-like without making them non-human? And, well, there's this thing that I know about because I'm one of those people who likes to learn about everyone's ways of life. There is a surgery you can get to get your ears pointed, like an elf. So I decided in my mind that that's what he did. He went to a surgeon and he got his ears pointed. Probably someone who is like a hack, I don't know. But they came out looking nice. And then the other thing I did was I gave him gauges because with me growing up, I always saw people, when gauges became a fad, I was like high school, and all the kids who had gauges were like the people who were delinquents, kind of just like the bad kids of the school. So I always associate gauges with a delinquent. So that's why I gave him gauges. And it ended up looking really cool because it kind of looks like his ears are like wings, like fairy wings. Again, it's funny. He's a tough guy, but he has like fairy wings for ears. So that's how I did his ears. After that, while looking at the original design, I was very much in love with his mullet. And I kind of wanted to keep the mullet, but the way it was originally designed is kind of very hard to draw. The spike up look. One of my characters in How Love Starts has that up hair. Also, Tucker from Tara and Tucker, he has up hair like that. And it's one of those things that the characters I have who have it, I hate drawing it. It's awful. It's not fun to draw. So I decided to, as opposed to doing straight up in the back, I would just give him a mohawk kind of thing going on. So he's got like a mohawk that becomes long in the back. So what I always imagined a mullet to be. And I kept his hair, I did red because that was the original hair color in front. for the top, and then the back would be blue. So I made the hair red itself, and then did the shaving side parts, because when you make a mohawk, you have to shave your head kind of thing, blue. However, because of the skin color I chose, when I did the light layer, the kind of see-through part to the shaved hair, it ended up looking more like black hair. So with the hair, it kind of looks like he's a natural black hair, and he dyes his hair red. So I like it. It kind of reminds me of Kirishima from My Hero Academia, but that's because I'm a weeb and a nerd and a weirdo. He's nothing like Kirishima, just so you all know. So after I did the hair, I went on to his jacket and all his clothes in general. So in his jacket, he has all these like strings that go across his chest, and I loved them. I thought they were the coolest thing since like sliced bread, and I still think they're great. However, because I wanted to make him a comic character, I felt like that was too much detail that I would constantly kind of forget how many were actually on him, so I reduced it. He now has just an X across his chest, a whole bunch of bandages wrapped around his neck, and a whole bunch of bandages wrapped around his waist, and then the 2 bandages cutting off where the sleeves are. And I like that. I also like that I changed them to a bandage color as opposed to yellow, because the yellow was just too much, and when I get into the jacket colors, you'll understand why it would be a little too much. So after rearranging the bandage string thing to make it look better, I then went into the jacket. So I like the idea that he was shirtless, obviously, so I wanted to keep the open jacket look, and I really liked that the jacket had like sleeves coming off. I think those were meant to be gloves originally, but they kind of looked more like sleeves in my opinion, just like you know how people have those cut added sleeves. So I decided to make him have sleeves on the side, and I kept the fire symbolism going up the jacket and on the sleeves, because the original sleeves gloves looked more like his boots, and I had decided that I was not going to be using his boot design at all, that I was just going to give him regular shoes, because that was going to make him way too busy, too much, to remember to draw and stuff like that. So I gave him regular pants with regular shoes, and yes, I gave him pants. I know the original design does not have pants, but that's because it's a Sonic character, and this is a human. Humans need to wear pants. That is my argument. Humans need to wear pants. So anyway, so that's why I kind of just got rid of those whole boots and the arm design and just went with a flame that goes up on the jacket itself. And then I had to color in the jacket, which the problem with the jacket's coloring is I wanted to do the orange, green, blue. Orange, green, blue hurts your eyes. Way too busy, it's way too noisy, it's loud, it would be a very, very loud type of shirt, or, well, in this case, jacket. And it was just too much. It hurt your eyes. It was too much for the character. It didn't match. So eventually, after trying a whole bunch of color combinations, I landed on a green that goes to a green-blue that goes to a brown. And then the brown is the color of the pants, and the green-blue are the colors of the shoes. So it worked. It ended up working out really nice. I like that it's still, again, kind of like a fantasy color, because where do you see blue flames ever? But it's still kind of a tough guy persona looking thing. So after I did the jacket, I then realized, okay, he still doesn't look rough enough or tough enough. Let's give him tattoos. And because I said that I wanted to keep him in kind of like wanting fantasy and specifically dragons, I decided that I would give him tattoos of snakes, reptiles in general. So he has a total of 4 snake tattoos, one on each shoulder, and then 2 that circle around his abs. And those are just basic snakes that are green and hissing. And then he has a giant heart where his heart would be, with flame coming up. And I think that's the placement of the heart is fantastic because the X just frames it so well. The X with the rope frames it so well. And the reason I put in the heart was because, well, if you see someone with a whole bunch of tattoos, 9 out of 10 times they'll have a heart somewhere in the array of tattoos they have. So it's like, he has to have a heart. Finally, the other 2 tattoos that were added were, you can't really see it, but on the bandage on his neck, there's 2 black hole tattoos. And those are supposed to represent like a snake bite or a vampire bite, you know, like something with fangs biting him on the neck. And then he's got 2 triangle tattoos under his eyes. Now, those are supposed to be kind of like, when I was looking up pictures of like snake people who wanted to be like lizards and stuff, they would put lines on their eyes like that, little triangles to try and make the eyes look sharper, like a snake's eyes. It's kind of more, I want to say like ovally and sharp than human eyes, which are very round kind of thing. So that's where that point came from. It kind of came from the lizard people I'd seen. And then I gave him a fang, obviously, and I made him a smoker because dragons breathe fire, so he had to be able to smoke. That was my theory. He's gotta breathe fire somehow and smoke. You know, smoking smokes. And then, yeah, the background I put him in is just an alley with a whole bunch of spray paint behind him and unkept grass. That's pretty much all it is. So he will be appearing in How Love Starts. I want to say like chapter 3 he'll appear, but I might bring him in sooner depending on the scenarios I want to have happen. It's not all set in stone. So again, you want to read that, link in the description. My socials are in the description. And I really enjoyed redesigning Skin. Thank you for watching. The next character be redesigned, I have no idea, so I'm not gonna say it. Goodbye!